Right now, though, we are joined by a special guest here on the 757 at 6. He is the reigning VHSL Class 4 State Offensive Player of the Year and helped bring the Lake Taylor Titans some hardware, a state football championship last December over at Liberty University in Lynchburg when they defeated Tuscarora. What a ride they had, and what a season and career he's had for the Titans. A year ago, 37 total touchdowns, 32 on the ground, 4 receiving, an interception, pick 6 score as well. He also had 57 tackles on defense, 1,993 yards, 31 touchdowns as a sophomore before his 2,060-yard, 32 rushing touchdown junior campaign. Listen to these career numbers. 41 games, he had a total of 86 touchdowns, 5,165 yards rushing, and 75 touchdowns. He's committed to play his college football in the ACC for the Pittsburgh Panthers. We say hello to Malik Newton here on ESPN Radio 94.1. What's going on, my friend? Strange times we're in. Malik, how you been holding up?
Good. Been doing very well.
Do you ever think when your football season ended, basketball season gets going, and you play 3 sports for those who don't know, and you do it very well, baseball, football, and basketball, does Malik Newton out of Lake Taylor High School in Norfolk. Season ends for you guys. Tough playoff loss, but not long after that, we'd had the whole sports world pretty much shut down for 4+ months.
Yeah, man. It's been that tough, man. It's been real tough.
How have you been staying in shape and, I guess, continuing to progress as an athlete, knowing that a lot of you guys haven't been able to get together and do the normal things that you're accustomed to as student athletes?
I've been working out with a trainer, and then baseball started up, so I've been doing baseball, and then I play like pickup basketball or run with my cousin.
Okay. We had one of your future Pitt teammates, Miles Alston from Ocean Lakes, on about 2 months ago or so, and I'll throw this to you. What's been the most frustrating part of this pandemic, and what's been the positive you can take out of this pandemic? What's been the most annoying thing for you, and what's been the thing that you've been able to, I guess, cope with during the pandemic?
Worst was just like trying to stay away from people. People not wearing a mask, or like trying to stay away from people. And then like positive was just I got a break. I got to, break to spend time with my family, my sister, and, do some stuff, do some family stuff around the house that I usually don't get to do because I'm always busy with sport every day.
That's a good perspective to have. I mean, family is always first, and spending time with the loved ones. And you really don't get a break ordinarily because you're around on the go all the time, football, basketball, baseball, and you probably haven't had a break like this since before you got into high school, huh?
Yes, sir, man. I've been taking advantage of, still do the workouts, but, I take advantage of it a little bit I can.
Well, it was announced a couple days ago that the Virginia High School League Executive Committee's got a few different models for fall sports and sports in general, and none of them have football in the fall as a part of that. And you put out on Twitter that you're going to enroll early into college, and you're verbally committed here to Pittsburgh. You're going to enroll in December. So let's dive into that. The VHSL's decision. Tell me about enrolling early to college and opting not to play your senior season, if there is one for football in the area, come late winter, early spring.
It was a tough decision. Me and my mom, I've been talking to her about it for like the past 3 weeks. She was like, "Do you really want to enroll early for school?" I was like, "Yeah, I want to enroll early." And she was like, if that's something you want to do, you're about to be 18, so you got to start making decisions on your own. So, once they said there wasn't going to be no football in the fall, and then they're talking about changing it to the spring, it was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it because, that means I'll have to do football for Lake Taylor. And then, while I'm doing that, I'll probably have to, remember plays and remember stuff for Pitt, so then after the season, I can go straight there and be able to play.
Well, you mentioned about getting ready to embark on adulthood, being independent, and man, you get to 18 and you get to 21, and you're kind of on your own in a lot of respects there, and you bounce some things off your mom. Did you all discuss it with your future coaches, the college coaches at Pittsburgh, like head coach Pat Narduzzi? We know Chris Beatty's been a great recruiter from this area. He's from here. He led Lansdowne to a state title. And then also your high school coaches like Coach Hank Sawyer and some of the other coaches there at Lake Taylor. Did you kind of discuss it with those guys?
I discussed it with my coaches with Pitt, But like back at home, I talked to I didn't like I brung it up to Coach Sawyer, but I didn't really like tell him that I was going to do it. But I told like my other coach, San Antonio, that I was going to do it.
Yeah, Coach San Antonio Jones, who used to be a standout defensive back and wide receiver there at Lake Taylor. We're talking with the Titan himself, Malik Newton, reigning Class 4 State Offensive Player of the Year. He helped bring Lake Taylor a state championship. He had a 33-8 record during his time with the Titans, got a ring, and he had a total of 86 touchdowns during his time there. It's the 757 at 6 on ESPN Radio 94.1. Malik going to the ACC to play for the Pitt Panthers. I know there was a lot of rumors, too, would you stay at Lake Taylor after you guys lost in heartbreaking fashion during your sophomore season. How important was it for you? And also fulfilling in a way that you came back junior year, had a great season, got Player of the Year, and got Coach Sawyer another ring, and got that championship for the school?
That sophomore year, it was hard. It was just hard. It was like that next week, it was hard to go to school. It was hard to get up. Like, it was hard to do anything. Like, you just kept thinking, like, yo, we lost a heartbreaker. Like, it was just, we were down, but we was just motivated. That what really motivated us for our junior year. We was in the weight room. We took the weight room serious. We took practice serious that whole year. Like, we was just very motivated to get a ring and get our coach a ring. Because that's all he preaches, how he wanted that all-red ring. And how he wanted it. He would never wear a ring in school unless we got one. So we thank Coach Sawyer because without him, we wouldn't have never did anything we did this year.
Man, the tough finish against Woodgrove the year before. You beat a Tuscarora team that was a power up there in Northern Virginia. Not many people gave how much of a chance. I thought it'd be a tough game for you guys, myself included, and you proved many of the doubters wrong, especially after those two lopsided losses during the year to one team from your own city there and Maury that won a state championship in Class 5 and a team in Verona that got to the state semifinals. What'd you guys learn about yourselves from the adversity? Because people wrote you guys off after that, and I think it was a great teaching moment and learning moment for you guys as players.
We were, before that, we were like a iffy team. Like, we were just like a team that, we kept playing at first. Like, we didn't really take practice serious for real. But then, we took that L to Maury first. That really woke, some of us up. And then, we went out, we played Norfolk that next week. We were down halftime. That woke us up. So it fired us like we're better than what we're playing, and it showed at the end. And then we came back, we beat Norfolk, then we played Verona, turned around, then it up to one of the nastiest losses we ever had besides Freedom. It was horrible. So we came back that next week. And from the rest of the season, we said we gonna stop playing. We gotta get a ring. This our year. This our seniors last year. We messed up last year with the seniors, with Vaughn, Tater, Deshaun. We messed up with them. So we want to send our seniors out good this year. And we stepped up. The upper classes stepped up and did what we had to do so the lower class could come up. And we did what we had to do to get the ring.
And you were a big part of that as you, in your career with the Titans, ran for 5,165 yards and 75 touchdowns in 41 games. And Malik, you mentioned about the difficulty of the loss your sophomore year in the state final. You redeemed yourself from that. What was more difficult? Because, correct me if I'm wrong, I understand you were going to play baseball this past spring. Were you not, for the high school team?
Oh, yes. I was going to play baseball this past spring.
Okay, so what was harder, having that loss in the state championship or not getting a chance to kind of do some big things on the baseball field for the Titans this past spring when they wiped out spring sports?
I would say the state championship. That was the hardest one because we were there. We did everything we had to do that whole year. We were beating teams, and just to come up short, it was to a good season was just man.
Sure. Now, you grew up playing three sports. Not many guys can do it as effectively as you have. Which one do you love the most? Baseball, football, basketball? I know you like them all. Which one do you love the most and why?
I love baseball the most.
Okay.
Baseball because, it just came natural to me. Like when I was little, my granddad and my mom, they used to get mad because I used to have my school clothes on, but I used to go outside and pick up a stick and hit gumballs from the tree and then just run around the bases and then slide in my home with my school clothes. And, they used to just get mad. So I say baseball because, it just came natural to me.
All right. Who's the baseball guy you looked up to and emulated? Because you play in the outfield, right?
Yeah, Adam Jones.
Adam Jones, all right, from Orioles fame at one time. How about football guy and basketball guy? Give me the one or two guys in those sports that you also like to model your game after and look up to.
Football would be Marshawn Lynch, and then basketball would be Kevin Durant.
All right, beast mode and the tarantula here. A few minutes with Malik Newton from Lake Taylor High School, the reigning state player there in Class 4, who's headed to Pitt to play his college football. Then we'll do some rapid fire and let him go here on ESPN Radio 94.1. It is the 757 at 6. Look, going into Lake Taylor, because you know about the expectations and guys that have gone on to star and even play in the pros like Jalen Holmes, who's now with the Vikings, and other great players. You go down the list of running backs and others, names such as Mike Privet, Travis Williams, just the list goes on and on from what they've done there. Who'd you look up to and kind of who took you under their wing when you got there as a ninth grader?
When I got there as a ninth grader, I would say, Travis used to come to when I was in ninth grade, Travis used to come to the practice, and he used to tell me, like, oh, you're going to be something special, you're going to do something. But the one I would say that really, knew would have been Dion. He was there before me. He was a senior when I was a freshman.
Dion Smith,
and,
right?
Yes, Dion Smith. And, I knew him from the neighborhood because, he used to always come out the neighborhood. We used to play basketball and football. So he knew how I was. But when I was a freshman, I didn't want to play varsity because I wanted to play JV with my friends. And so he's the one that actually, told me, just come up, you'll be playing with me, and you'll be fine. Nothing's wrong. It's just boys that you play with out the neighborhood. So it was okay, and then I tried it, and the first game it was just my first two carries were big carries, and then after that it was just a coach from there.
That's right. House calls against the Western Branch Bruins on a rainy night. I remember that game. It was rainy and windy out there, but you got it done and found the end zone quite a few times during your career at Lake Taylor with the Titans, 86 in fact total when you add them all up. Let's talk about Pitt for a second. What was it about Pitt? Because you had all kinds of schools recruiting you, whether it was Penn State or Clemson, ACC, Big Ten, you name them. What was it about Pitt that made them different from everybody else?
They stayed in touch, even when the other schools stopped texting, I was talking to either Coach Beatty or Coach Powell or Coach Narduzzi every day. I was either talking to one of them each day. So it was they really stayed in touch, and I could tell that they really wanted me to come play for their program. And then, he spoke to my family. My family loved Pitt. They loved the coach. When we went to visit, my family fell in love with the area. They loved the place. And then the education side of it, he broke it down to us, and it was just this is where I want to be.
Gotcha. Now, you got some guys from the 757 joining you. I guess Pitt is lit here in 757 with Miles Alston, as I mentioned, from Ocean Lakes, Rodney Hammond from Booker T. You never know, more guys could be coming. How cool is that to kind of start a trend there?
It was great, man. Going up to Pitt with a few dogs from the 757 is a blessing. We know how we know how each other play. We're gonna go up there. We're gonna show out and show them what we can do down in the 757.
Well, last one before we get to rapid fire here for you. There's another 757 guy who's currently on the roster, defensive end, and Patrick Jones from Grassfield. You connect with him any?
Nah, I haven't talked to him yet.
Oh, Malik, make sure you do so because that guy's on some draft boards. He's going to be making some big-time cash potentially if he stays healthy and has a big year. So he could be playing NFL, and you never know. You could, if you get to the NFL too, you could guys be teammates one day, perhaps at the pro level. So make sure you connect with old Patrick Jones and tell him I said hello and what's up. All right, you ready to play some rapid fire before we let you run?
Yes, sir.
Here we go with Malik Newton, the reigning state player there and state champ, who's going to try to bring some hardware to the Pitt Panthers when he gets there in the ACC here on the 757 at 6. All right, Malik, what's the best TV show or movie you've watched here during the pandemic era?
Best TV show movie, I say Floor is Lava.
All right. Haven't seen that yet. I'll have to put it on my to-do list here. Trade places with one athlete in the world. Who you picking?
Marshawn Lynch.
Beast mode. How about spend a day with one non-athlete? Who you going with?
I'm going to go with Chris Brown.
Chris Brown. Okay. Now, you know Coach Sawyer has a lot of phrases. We love him for all his catchphrases and sayings that he has. What's your favorite Sawyerism? And let's keep it clean, obviously.
Oh, snap. Okay. Oh, snap. Dang. I can't think of one right now.
Oh, I thought you were going to go with the good Lord put the eyes in the front of your head, not the back of your head or something like that. He's got so many of them. You know, scratch where it itches.
So many.
Who does the best Coach Sawyer impersonation on the team?
Oh, they got to be P. Lil P.
Who's that? That Pierre Royster?
Yeah, Pierre Royster.
Uh-oh. Because Coach listens to everything, so when he hears that, he's going to be running and running and running and running until, I guess, you can't run anymore. 3 more for you. What's your go-to cereal?
Fruity Pebbles.
Fruity Pebbles. I heard someone else say that this week, too, by the way. Last 2. What was your hardest subject in school?
My hardest subject would have been Spanish.
Spanish. All right. ¿Cómo estás? He's not going to answer. He's not going to answer. He's just going to leave it alone. All right. Lastly, one team you're most looking forward to playing at Pitt. Who's the one team? Give him some bulletin board material. Ooh, Clemson. He's going to try to lead the Panthers to an ACC championship. He helped bring Lake Taylor a state football championship. He's Malik Newton out of Lake Taylor High School, the Fruity Pebbles lover himself. Thank you so much. Great chatting with you and covering you. We wish you all the best at the next level and beyond. We'll keep in touch, all right?
All right. Thank you so much.